The next part of our segment here is a panel on how to use MPC on other chains. And for that, it is my absolute pleasure to invite Shawn Jensen, co-founder of Profila, and Kurt Nielsen, our president, as well as Tyler Wales,
yes,
strategy and growth manager at EMURGO. All right, we're all set up. We're getting set up now. All right, wonderful. Here you are, Kurt.
Hey, good morning, Shawn.
Good morning.
So, what time is it in your place? You woke up early?
4:45 a.m. It's an early flight.
Good morning.
Okay, so you can see the screen. Okay, everybody.
All right. Anyway, we'll start with Shawn, and we'll jump in.
Okay, good. Thank you, everybody, for the opportunity, and lovely to speak to you, Kurt, and team from Partisia, and everyone at Token2049. I'll just take you briefly through Profila, our vision and mission, why we're building the company, and also our love for all things multi-party computation. So our mission as a company, as you can see, is to deliver human agency, privacy, and valued relationships for people. Where the problem started, as we know, is the mass surveillance of people, and that was the root cause, or the problem we were trying to solve for in 2017 when we started the company. We collaborated with the likes of CERN, and we have done a lot of research over the years on how do we actually build a platform that can give people back their sovereignty and also choice, so that they can view content and experience the internet in a safer way. We believe the solution is a new platform which the industry can use, and specifically companies can use to engage with their best customers using Web3 and privacy-preserving technologies. Very importantly, with zero surveillance and zero mind manipulating algorithms. And that's what we have built at Profila. So how it works is we encourage people to build a new profiler of themselves, focusing on zero-party data first, and that means building out a personal and psychographic data profile. We've worked significantly with researchers on how to ask better questions of individuals so that your profile is an accurate representation and the most accurate representation of you as an individual. Importantly, on Profila, we never let you sell your data. So we believe that it should only be shared for a duration and purpose with companies that you believe in and that you trust and that you want to build a relationship with. How it works for companies is companies invite their customers onto the platform. And surprisingly, we've had a lot of discussions over the years, and brands are dying to engage with their customers in a more meaningful way. And then people, we believe, will share their information much more willingly if they have trust in the relationship and they have a level of control in what data they have shared and for what purpose. And importantly, what are they getting in return for their data? And that is not always cash. The research shows that paying people for their data only is not valuable and not an intrinsic loyal relationship. It is much more, how do I trust you because I've now shared my information, or you've seen data that I've given to you and I want to be able to get a service back. We've looked at companies in luxury, leisure, retail, but the platform also works across hospitality, healthcare, and other sectors because the process is exactly the same. I have to share a piece of data to be able to get a result and to be able to build a good relationship. So in Profila as well, we believe your data and your attention are your best assets. And similarly to Brave and some of the other pioneers in this space, we are facilitators of a relationship. So in our world, in our scenario, brands pay you for your time and attention, and up to 90% of that revenue will flow through to the individual. As mentioned before, this is not a lot of cash, but it opens the way for a much safer relationship between you and the companies that you want to build a relationship with. Why multi-party computation? I think this was the slide that stood out for me when I first met Bruce. There's a lot of hype in the space around ZK proofs, which are fantastic technologies in themselves. But when I saw Partisia's blockchain ZK computation, which has a many-to-many, if you want, approach of many secrets, many inputs from multiple parties, and then being able to output multiple and complex results, it really resonated with us. And since then, we've been architecting how do we use this privacy-preserving technology across our platform. The next slide is a little bit complicated, but this is Profila's roadmap, and you can see the progress of what we've been building. And the areas circled in green are the ones that we're aiming to implement this technology. Linking it to digital IDs, where we have personas built into a digital ID. The MPC technology will give us the ability to reach into that data set, preserving the individual's privacy totally and only giving back the information or the assertions that the brand needs to know that this individual actually exists. Secondly, what really resonated with us is the private surveys, because in our platform, as you can see, we help people to understand themselves through self-assessments, and we would like to use this technology in the same way to be able to run large volume of surveys, but very privately, so that the actual data itself does not need to be seen by the company and not even by Profila. We have quite a robust data strategy where our data will be distributed on a separate environment from Profila and fully under control of the individual. And that leads us to point 3, which will be our first collaboration with Partisia, is our data sharing environment. In that space, we've built a smart contract on Cardano for data subscriptions, which will manage the relationship between the brand and the individual to be able to lease their data for a duration and period of time. And that's where multi-party computation will really excel, because in the real world, brands need to be able to target an individual. And if I've opted into that, we need to be able to share insights as to my preferences, when they can contact me, and what type of content or services I want. And to be able to do that fully anonymously, to be able to create these systems that need these data inputs without sacrificing any privacy is really our goal. And as you can see down the chain, we also developed a zero-knowledge advertising protocol with the University of Madrid about 2 years ago, which we're planning to implement. There we also see great value for MPC in delivering advertising and content in a brand new way that has zero data leakage, something which professors haven't seen before in the market. And obviously, point 5 is we'll use a private and public blockchain environment as necessary to be able to give trust to the individual and to the brand that the relationships are built on a sound foundation. So the good news, which we're very happy to kick off our relationship with Partisia, been in Cardano community for many years, since 2017, and we've had several grants from the environment, from a Catalyst Fund, which I think is an amazing project, where the community gets grants and the community votes on projects that they will see valuable in the future. But we will be integrating our data subscription smart contract into Partisia's environment. And we kicked off the sessions last week with our developers as to how do we adapt our own smart contract to be able to kick off smart contracts in Partisia's environment to run the MPC process on that data subscription. I think this solution will extend way beyond even our environment, because data sharing is the future and it's only going to grow. So if we have methods like the Web3 smart contracts linked to MPC, I think that we have a very safe future ahead of us. And that's it from me.
Thank you, Shawn. Yes, give him a hand. So, excellent, Shawn, thank you. So, we will say a few words. So I will start out by, because this is the 3 parties, right? We have Profila, a service building on Cardano, tapping into privacy-preserving computation on Partisia. sending it back to the service. So we'll talk a little bit about this. So this is kind of a bit of a reintroducing the case, but sorry about that. But anyway, I think it's important because this field that we're looking at is one of the major driver of the Web 2. And what you see, what the Web 2 companies is doing, they're trying to solve the challenge that Web 3 should solve. So we really need to get in here. Thank you, Profila, for doing this, because this is really important. The time is just right. So these quotes here is from Web 2 companies. This is what they're looking at the moment. They're looking at getting first-party data. So they, instead of deriving profiles from secondary use and of behavioral data, they want to have a more direct interlink with the customers and getting first-party data. Your actual purchase behavior, your actual type, your real private data, and put that to work in advertisement. I mean, hey, this is what we should solve. This is a Web3 challenge. This is a user-centric problem that needs to be solved. But you cannot solve this user-centric problem unless you have privacy tools, because this is about translating that private information into a profile, which is sort of picturing in overall term what we're doing. You have some private data at the top, and then you end up with a profile that is sent through the machinery of online advertisement, auctioning off and showing advertisements to the right person at the right time on the right platform. That's how it works today. So what we're adding here is the machinery that protect your private data, convert that into the profile that match the context that makes sense in the right situations. So it's really a problem that we need to solve. It's one of the requirements was also that they need to match regulation. So in order to do that, we need to have an infrastructure that can also address the let's say the GDPR regulation, the variation of GDPR we see all over the world. How to protect the individual's data, and also we need to have some accountability on the algorithm that we are facing. So addressing that, having traceability on what is actually being done with these data is paramount. And that's what we will get with the Partisia network. That's what is built into the basic infrastructure by combining these two technologies. So now I'm getting to the actual real story. The mix of Cardano, Partisia. So we have Profila sitting on top of Cardano using a smart contract over there, asking at some point to bring in private data, convert these private data into something that can be used more neutral, like neutral profiles in the advertisement industry. So that is what is coming back from the Partisia blockchain. So the Partisia blockchain solves that privacy part, where we convert these private data into profiles and send them back to the service on Cardano. And that was actually my part.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm just thankful to be up here with everyone here, and great to have other partners like Partisia, great builders in the ecosystem like Profila. And the one thing about blockchains, Cardano, it's very decentralized. It solves lots of problems. You can put your data on there if you want to. It can track your transactions. You don't have to use a bank. You don't have to use intermediaries. The big problem with blockchains is that they're 100% transparent. So if I do put my stuff on the blockchain, then everyone sees exactly what that is, unless there's some sort of layer that obfuscates that data. And that's where Partisia comes in. Because what happens is with Profila, they're collecting the data from the consumer who wants to share that data with advertisers that want to maybe sell them things and get them to do things. But I don't want my data just to be public domain. I don't want it everywhere. So that data then goes through, first collected by Profila, and then goes through Partisia, where it then goes onto the blockchain where it's obfuscated so that you protect the privacy of the data while unlocking the value of the data for the end person, the end user who contributed that data, if that makes sense. So like without this sort of framework here, it really doesn't work for adoption. If you're talking about like SocialFi or like decentralized social media, anything like that where you want to put personal data onto a blockchain, it really doesn't work unless you're okay sharing everything with everyone, or if there's a way to obfuscate that, then you would go through something like this service or this infrastructure. If not, then the only other option is to go through the traditional way, which is where you're relying on a third-party intermediary to manage your data, and you're putting your trust in that intermediary not to leak it, to sell it to other places and whatnot. So the way I see it is like this unlocks a lot of doors for other collaborations in the space, other collaborations with other blockchains, with other data collection services. So just thankful that people are building and moving forward.
Excellent. Thank you. Are you still with us, Shawn?
I am, yes.
Perfect. We can't see you. Anyway, so thanks a lot for getting up early this morning in Europe time, and I think we're good for now, and send it to the next speaker. So, Alex, would you? So, thank you.
Thank you.